everyone, and welcome. Welcome to day 3 of the GCSG Global Virtual Conference. My name's Hannah, and I'll be leading you through a 45-minute yoga flow. Nothing too challenging. It's just going to be nice and relaxing and stretchy, and hopefully just get your blood flowing and start you off on a really nice day. I'm also a volunteer for GCSG, helping out with social media and some sponsorships this year. Yes, so we'll just kind of give everybody a minute to join, then we'll get started. All you'll need is a mat. If you don't have a mat, you can just find a carpeted area or a rug. Some people use towels, but we're going to keep it nice and simple. Right, I'm going to set the timer. All right, well, we'll get started here. You can just start in a comfortable seated position, just how I am with simple cross leg would work, whatever's comfortable. And just make sure your sit bones have a nice connection with the ground. Maybe rock a little bit side to side. Make sure you have a nice connection with the ground underneath you. Your hands can come to your thighs or to your knees. Bring your shoulder blades together and down your back. You don't need to strain or keep them there. You can just bring them together and down. Just for alignment, and keep your spine nice and tall. Pull the crown of your head up as if there was a string on the crown of your head, and it's pulling you up. It's pulling your spine to be nice and tall and long. And if you're comfortable here, you can close your eyes. And we're just going to start this yoga practice by tuning in to the present moment. So what I mean by that is thinking about how your body is feeling at this moment in time. You're not thinking about what happened before you got to this class or what's going to happen afterwards. You're only thinking about what's happening currently. Maybe you're noticing some joints that are a little bit stiff. Start to notice your energy level. Is your energy low? Or is your energy high today? And if you're not sure what to focus on, I would recommend focusing on your breath. It's something that we're always doing and almost never noticing. You start to notice those subtle sensations that your breath creates. Gentle rising and falling of your chest. Expanding and contracting of your lungs and your ribs. And if you haven't already, maybe start to deepen your breath. Taking nice long inhales and matching your exhales to your inhales. Notice the air coming in and out of your nostrils. We'll just take a few nice deep breaths in this calming pose before we start moving. So on your next nice deep inhale, start to bring your arms out to your sides and circle them up till they meet at the top. And then as you exhale, bring your arms back down, bring your hands to the floor next to you. Inhale, reach up, bring your palms to touch. And then exhale as you bring your hands back down to your sides. Inhale, reach up. This time as you exhale, twist to the right and bring your left hand to your right knee. Inhale, reach up. And exhale as you twist to the left, right hand to left knee. Sit up nice and tall. Inhale, reach up. And exhale as you twist to the right, wring out your lungs. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, twist to the left. Sit up nice and tall. Inhale, reach up. And then exhale, bring your hands straight out in front of you. So your wrists are in line with your shoulders. And pull your fingers and your palms back towards you. Almost as if you're pressing against a wall. You should feel a nice stretch in your wrists and maybe some sensations in your forearms. Keep your shoulders nice and soft. Keep your shoulders away from your ears. And then flip your right palm so that your right palm is facing you. Then bring your left hand and gently press on the back of your right hand. Just getting an opposite stretch in your wrist and your forearm. Not pulling too much, just a gentle press. And then switch so that your left hand is facing towards you, your left palm is facing towards you, your right hand comes to the back of your left hand and gently presses. And then release, bring your fingers out wide and then make fists. Spread your fingers wide as they'll go. And then make fists, tightly ball your hands together. And then open up your hands. And then close, open, close. I'm gonna go a little bit faster. And a little bit faster. Maybe feel some burning in your forearms. And then release, you can shake out your wrists side to side. Then maybe up and down. And then inhale, reach your arms back up, bring your palms together. And exhale, bring your hands straight in front of you, plant your palms. And then we'll come into a tabletop position. So your shoulders are right above your wrist and your hips are right above your knees. Untuck your toes. And press the tops of your feet into the floor. And then we'll start to warm up our spine a little bit here. So as you inhale, we'll come into cow pose. So drop your belly down and shine your heart forward. Scoop your tailbone up. And then exhale, come to your cat pose. Round your spine, look behind you. Create space in between your shoulder blades. Gently press the mat away. Then inhale back to cow pose, drop your belly, shine your heart. Exhale, cat pose. Bring your spine up towards the ceiling. Inhale to cow pose. Look forward. Exhale, round your spine. And then start to do this at your own pace, following your breath. So as you inhale, you're opening up your chest. And as you exhale, you're closing your chest and rounding your spine. All right, and then when you're ready, you can come into a neutral spine, back to our tabletop position. And start to tuck your toes underneath, spread your fingers wide, press into the mat, and press into your toes and hover your knees up off the floor. And then continue lifting your hips up high until you come into your downward facing dog. So this is an upside down V shape, more or less. And you're pressing the mat away using all 10 fingers. Then you're scooping your tailbone up. And prioritize the length in your spine, which means if your knees are bent, that's totally fine. We'll take a few breaths here. And then go ahead and bend your left knee. Set your left knee down on the floor. And then turn your right foot so that your right foot is firmly planted on the mat. And reach your right arm up. So in this pose, your shoulders are stacked on top of each other. Your hips are stacked. And your chest is open and your hips are open. And you're really pressing your right foot into the floor. And you're breathing and opening up your chest. Take a nice deep inhale here. And then exhale as you bring your right arm over your right ear. Reaching your right hand away from your right foot. Should feel a nice stretch on the right side of your body. Maybe send a few breaths to your right ribs. And then inhale as you reach your right arm back up. And exhale, set your right hand down on the floor. Reach your right leg up. And you can stay here or you can start to reach your left arm forward. Testing a little bit of our balance here. So you're reaching in equal parts that you're kicking back. And you're kicking and reaching and lifting. And as you inhale, start to lift your limbs a little bit higher. And exhale, set everything back down. Tuck your toes underneath and come back to your downward facing dog. And take some breaths here. And then bend your right knee, set your right knee down on the floor. Turn your left foot so that it's firmly planted on the ground. And reach your left arm up. So we're in a kind of a side plank pose, but with the right knee down. And you're stacking your shoulders and your hips. And opening up your chest. And take a nice deep inhale here. And exhale as you bring your left arm over your left ear. Reaching your left hand as far away from your left foot as it will go. Breathing into your left ribs. And inhale, reach your left arm up. And exhale, set your left hand back down on the floor. Reach your left leg up. And reach your right arm forward. Kicking and reaching. And keep your neck in line with your spine. So you should be looking down at the ground. And then inhale, lift your limbs a little bit higher. And exhale, set everything back down. Spread your fingers wide, tuck your toes, and lift your hips up high, downward facing dog. And then reach your right leg up towards the ceiling. And then step your right foot up in between your hands. And then drop your left knee down to the floor and tuck your left toes. And walk your hands up to your right knee. And shine your chest forward. And bring your hips forward. You should feel a nice stretch in your left hip flexor. And maybe in your right glutes, your right hamstrings. And then bring your arms out to your sides like airplane wings. Bring your thumbs to point down. And then reach your hands back behind you, interlace your fingers, and draw your fingers down your left thigh. And shine your heart forward, maybe look up a little bit. And then release, bring your hands to either side of your right foot. And then start to walk your hands back towards you and lift your right toes up off the floor until you're folding over your right leg. And this is going to look different for everybody. So maybe your right knee is bent. Maybe your right toes just stay on the floor or closer to it. Or maybe you pull your right toes back towards you. And then you can drop your right toes down and walk your hands forward. Tuck your left toes and lift your left knee. Plant your hands and step your right foot back to meet your left, so you're in a plank pose. And then from here, rock forward slightly. You can drop your knees, or you can slowly lower your entire body down to your belly slowly and with control. Untuck your toes and press into your hands gently, coming into cobra pose. So it's a back bending pose. You're shining your heart forward, keeping your thighs down on the floor, keep the tops of your feet on the floor. And then bring your chin back to the floor, tuck your toes, and use your strong arms to press yourself up to plank. And then lift your hips up high, downward facing dog. And take a few breaths here. You can always drop to your knees. If you need a break, maybe come into child's pose. But if you're still with us in down dog, then reach your left leg up towards the ceiling. And then step your left foot up in between your hands. And you can drop your right knee down, untuck your right toes. Walk your hands to your left knee and bring your hips forward. And shine your heart forward, bring your chest forward. And then bring your hands out like airplane wings, out to your sides. And interlace your fingers behind you. And draw your fingers down your right thigh. And look up. And shine your heart forward. Open your throat. And then you can release your hands, bring your hands to either side of your left foot, and then start to walk your hands back towards you as you start to straighten your left leg. And maybe bring those left toes back towards you. And think about bringing your nose to your toes. And again, it's totally fine if your knee is bent here. It's going to look different for everybody. And then when you're ready, set those left toes down on the floor. Walk your hands forward. Plant your hands. Tuck your right toes and lift your right knee. And step your left foot back to meet your right. So you're in your plank pose. And then we're going to lower slowly down to the floor. It's called the chaturanga. So you can always drop your knees, or you can lower your entire body down at the same time. Inhale as you come up to your cobra pose. Shine your heart forward. And then bring your chin to the floor. Tuck your toes and press up to your downward facing dog. And take a few breaths here. And then start to walk your hands back towards your feet until you're in a forward fold, folding over your legs. And then start to round your spine, bend your knees. And then slowly lift all the way back up to standing. And then once you're here, you can roll your shoulders back a few times. And then bring your hands to heart center. Bring your feet about hips distance apart. And bring your weight into your right foot. And then start to peel your left ankle, your left foot up off the ground. Bring your left knee out. Left heel comes to kickstand here. And you can stay here. This is tree pose. Or you can start to bring your left foot to the inside of your right calf, or the inside of your right thigh. Meanwhile, you're pressing your palms in towards each other for a little bit of balance. And then once you feel stable, you can stay here, or you can start to reach your arms up and start to grow your branches. And you can grow your branches a couple different ways. You can just simply reach up. You can come to cactus arms or goalpost arms. You can interlace your fingers and point up. If you fall out of this pose, just come back right into it. Balance is something that takes practice for sure. And then when you're ready, you can come back to center and step your left foot to meet your right. We'll take a couple baby chair poses here, just to kind of reset everything. And then bring your weight into your left foot. Peel your right heel up off the ground and bring your right knee out. And you can kickstand here, or bring your right foot to the inside of your calf, or to the inside of your thigh. And press your palms into each other. Once you've found your base, you can start to grow your branches. Taking whatever variation you want. And then when you're ready, you can come back to center. Step your right foot down. We'll take a couple baby chair poses. And then bring your feet a little bit wider than hips distance, and point your toes out. We're going to come into a yogi squat. So bring your hips really far back, as far back as they'll go without falling over. And then lower your hips as low down as they will go. You can bring your knees or your elbows to your knees and kind of gently press them out, but then also press your knees in against your elbows. Try to keep a nice long spine wherever you are. then when you're ready, you can come all the way down to a seat and bring your legs out in front of you. Make sure you have a nice connection to the ground with your sit bones. Sit up nice and tall. And as you inhale, reach up. And then exhale, fold forward over your legs, grabbing onto whatever you can, your pant leg, your ankles, your toes. Whatever is accessible. If this is uncomfortable, even just to sit like this, you can always sit up against a wall. That might help. Just a few more breaths here. And then when you're ready, roll back up to a seated position and bring your hands maybe 6 inches or a foot behind you. Plant your palms, spread your fingers, and press into your heels. And press into your hands as you lift your hips up, coming into a reverse tabletop. If you want to, you can drop your head back if that's comfortable. Otherwise, keep your head upright. And lift your hips up. And then drop your hips to the floor. Inhale as you reach up. Exhale as you reach forward, folding forward. Maybe see if it felt a little bit different this time. And if you're not already, maybe try to pull your toes in back towards you. And then again, round your spine, come back up to seated. Plant your hands back behind you, press into your heels and your palms, and lift your hips up. Reverse tabletop. And then drop your hips. Inhale as you reach up. And exhale as you fold forward. And your knees can always be bent here if that's more comfortable. And then when you're ready, roll back up to a seated position. And then bring the soles of your feet together. Knees out wide. And pull your feet in as close to you as comfortable. You can interlace your fingers and wrap them around your feet. And sit up nice and tall. And if this is enough of a stretch for you, you can always stay here. Or you can start to hinge forward and fold over your feet. Being mindful of what your body's feeling. If your body's telling you to back off, then always listen. I'm just here to offer suggestions to you. Obviously, can't even see you guys, so I don't know what you guys are feeling. Only you and your body can determine that. And then when you're ready, you can roll back up to seated. You can grab your knees and close your knees like you're closing a book. And send your legs out long in front of you. Bend your right knee. And bring your right foot to the outside of your left leg. And then give your right leg a little hug as you squeeze your right knee in towards you. Feel a nice stretch in your glutes, maybe your hamstrings. And then continue hugging your right leg with your left arm. And then reach your right arm back behind you and look over to your right, maybe over your right shoulder. And keep your spine nice and tall here. And twist. And then when you're ready, you can untwist and give your right leg just another little squeeze, a little hug. And send your right leg back out long. Bend your left knee and step your left foot to the outside of your right leg and give your left leg a little hug. And squeeze your left leg in towards you. And then again, keep hugging your left leg with your right arm. And bring your left arm back behind you. And twist to the left, maybe looking over your left shoulder. Your spine is still stacked here. And then when you're ready, you can release. Give your left leg another little hug. And then release, bring your left leg out long. And then you can round your spine and slowly lower all the way down to the ground. Bend your knees. Bring the soles of your feet to the floor. Your ankles should be right below your knees. Arms down to your sides. And then using your leg muscles, press into your feet and lift your hips up as high as they will go. Coming into bridge pose. And you can even start to kind of walk or wiggle your shoulders underneath you. And then maybe clasp your hands together underneath. Bringing your chest in towards your chin. Getting a back bend in the top part of your spine. breathing. And then go ahead and release. Bring your hips back down to the ground. And then make some windshield wiper motions with your knees, dropping them to the left and then to the right. This is just to release the low back. And then with your knees bent, cross your right ankle over your left knee. Right knee comes away from you. And you can stay here. Or you can start to reach for your left leg, your left thigh. Grab onto it with both hands. And pull your left leg in towards you. Finding that nice stretch, that space between too easy and too hard. And then you can step your left foot back down to the ground, uncross your legs. Take your left ankle to your right knee and bring your left knee away from you. And you can stay here, or again, you can reach for your right thigh, bringing your right leg closer to you. And then when you're ready, step your right foot back down to the ground, uncross your legs. Bring both knees into your chest, give yourself a little hug. And then bring your hands down your shins and grab the outsides of your feet with both hands. And then bring the soles of your feet up towards the ceiling. So spreading your knees just wide enough for your torso to fit through. And then pull your knees down in towards your armpits. Still bringing your ankles right above your knees. This is called Happy Baby, and yes, it looks a little silly, but that's a great thing about a virtual conference is we're all in our homes and we can look a little funny. And if you want to, you can even rock a little bit side to side and give your spine a nice little massage. You can even try to maybe straighten both knees or one leg and then the other. It's really up to you. We're almost done here, so if your body's telling you it needs a little something extra, this is your time to kind of get that stretch in. And then when you're ready, we'll set up for our final resting pose. It's called Shavasana, and it's traditionally taken just laying flat down on your backs with your hands to your sides, palms facing up, feet flopped open. But if this is uncomfortable, maybe for your low back, you can bend your knees and make sure your knees are pressing into each other, just so that all of your joints are supported and nothing's floating. You can just let gravity do the work. And just like we started class, we're going to check in with our body and maybe start to release any extra tension. So release your shoulders down to the ground. Release the muscles in your jaw. Release the muscles in your face. That space between your eyebrows. Let your entire body feel heavy, almost as if gravity is pulling you down into the ground. And notice how the ground is completely supporting you, and you don't need any muscles to keep you in this position. And we'll remain here just for a few moments while we let everything we did soak in. And then start to wiggle your fingers, and wiggle your toes, and start making some gentle movements just to wake yourself back up. And maybe reach your arms up overhead, take a nice good morning stretch from your fingers to your toes. Then however you want to get there, we'll meet in a comfortable seated position. You can take your time. And on an inhale, you can reach your arms up overhead, bring your palms together. And then exhale as you bring your thumbs to heart center. Thank you for spending this time with me today and practicing with me. The light and love in me honors and acknowledges the light and love in you. Namaste. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful rest of the conference. I was really glad I was able to do this. So yeah, thank you so much and have a great day. Thanks.